Good evening. Good evening. How is everybody doing? I hope well. It is hot here. Not as hot as yesterday, but it was hot as fuck yesterday, but it's tolerable. So if you hear the fan, I apologize, but it is what it is. What's up, Rocky Man? Rocky? How you doing? Hey, Steve. Good to see you. So there's a couple of things I want to go over, and I have had links for days, but I just haven't been feeling up to it per se, and been busy, other stuff going on. But anyway, so I had some time today, and I want to come and share that our lovely governor Evers came here, and I'm not gonna say too much negative about him because I actually like him. Clearly, we're not going to agree on everything, right? Um, the more I the more I look into it, here's the deal. I was totally against Walker. You got a lot of people I know, a lot of my friends' parents, and you say about 4 or 5 people fired, and it was kind of personal with me and Walker. But anyway, needless to say, um, let me get into what I want to share with you guys. So he was here the other day, which wish I would have known about it. Believe it was yesterday, because Cavalier was out there too, and I'm really looking to speak with him also. So and I'll go from there because We have a huge problem here. I've talked about the Kia Boys before. Other people, there's another guy that I guess is from here, and he's previewed them on his channel. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it is what it is. I can't control other people, but yeah, I'm gonna share that part first, and then talk about it. So as you can see, it's just a picture of him being outside, and apparently they did a nice little walk, and which I don't understand how this 80 some year old lady, that's great that she's a pillar of the community, but in my opinion, it should be other people younger than her out here doing the work, right? Because she clearly should just be, um, you know, resting, in my opinion. Not saying she can't do work, but she shouldn't be the main one out here trying to get something done. That's just crazy to me. But I believe you'll be able to hear the audio in this. It played fine for me the first time because I don't want people to have to read all this. Maybe I just went right past it. Okay, here we go. Tell me if you can hear this. I want to make sure.
5 months before the fall election, Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers is highlighting recent government investments in Milwaukee. The state's top Democrats joined community leaders for a walk yesterday in the Garden Homes neighborhood on the city's north side. Chuck Kornbach reports that Evers met some people trying to help the historic but challenged area.
Garden Homes is the site of the first municipally supported housing project in the U.S., right about a century ago. An area with some of the houses built at that time is on the National Register of Historic Places. Like some other neighborhoods, it has unemployment, poverty, crime, litter, boarded-up homes, absentee property owners, and reckless driving. But also many residents who are not part of the problems and want to improve the area. Governor Evers began his walk at New Hope Missionary Baptist Church at 24th and Roosevelt. Within a couple blocks, one of his guides, Stephen Hopkins of the Violence Interruption Team 414 Life, told Evers about some of the neighborhood residents.
All lacking resources, economically, mental illness, things like that that plague the neighborhood. It's pretty much the same issues. Over the years, we've had, pop-up cookouts and things of that nature to promote peace. And you actually get the people in the neighborhood who come out and support these things and tell you that they're tired of dealing with this matter too.
Another guide, Desalyn Smith of the community organization United Garden Homes, Inc., told Evers about her group's efforts to provide sustainable housing.
So we're collaborating with as many people as we can in hopes to renovating some of these houses and get them sold to Milwaukee homeowners, low-income homeowners, and not these out-of-state homeowners who have a lot of the places and properties around here.
Evers said the neighborhood's concerns need to be considered in their entirety.
We need to understand how important it is to deal with all those issues.
Then it was time to stroll over to 27th Street and meet another community leader, 83-year-old Martha, known as Mother Freeman. She runs Alpha Omega Ministries, which includes a food pantry. Freeman told Evers about her efforts to talk with some of the people causing crime in the area.
You can look at the wrong that they're doing, but you know that there's something inside of it that can be worked with. And I think that it happened with me, and I believe it can happen with others.
Amen.
And that's the only thing I know that pushes me and drives me,
And though Republicans have been criticizing the state's Pardon Advisory Board and the governor's use of pardons, the Democrat told Freeman that finding good in people is important.
I started doing pardons when I took the office of governor, and we pardoned over 500 people that left the correctional institutions. And it is about redemption. Second chances, there's good in everybody.
Right.
So.
A pardon is an official act of forgiveness and restores many rights, but it does not expunge court records. Evers' staff is also highlighting $100 million, mostly in federal funds, that the state has sent to Milwaukee for community safety and violence prevention initiatives. The amount includes money for Milwaukee's Office of Violence Prevention and funds for reducing court backlogs. Also, smaller amounts for the Milwaukee Police Department and summer youth initiatives. Still, earlier this week, Milwaukee reached 100 homicides for 2022, when a 14-year-old girl was killed. The city may be on the way to another new murder record for the year. At a later news conference, Evers said he hopes Congress passes more restrictions soon on gun sales.
It will change all lives, no, but I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of there.
The Republican National Committee was not impressed with the governor's latest visit to Milwaukee. A spokesperson says that, quote, under Evers' failed leadership, Milwaukee has rampant crime, unquote. The GOP says voters are ready for solutions that move the city forward. Republican voters will nominate a candidate to run against Evers during the August 9th gubernatorial primary. Chuck Quirmbach, 89.7 WUWM, Milwaukee's NPR.
Okay, so you guys clearly heard that. And I will say that, like I said, I am a person that does support second chances in certain scenarios, not all, okay? But we have, when I spoke about the Kia boys, that's a huge problem. I highlighted it in another video. It's basically teenage boys that are stealing Kias, okay? And they drive reckless through here. Now, just yesterday, I don't know if I posted it, if I did a video, if I talked about it. Just yesterday, it was one when I was walking home. They damn near ran me over. And they say in their own video that they're doing it because there's no consequence. It's just a slap on the wrist. And this city is going downhill fast. I don't know what Evers thinks he's going to do, but I don't see anything in this plan to help. They said they want the small amounts to go to the police department. The police department here, like any, has had, issues from time to time. I haven't had a problem with Milwaukee police. My issue is that these people aren't getting in trouble. They're letting so many things slide. And I don't know if it's because they don't have the space. If they don't, I don't know what the problem is. Sometimes to me, it seems like it's by design, almost like when projects were created. They knew previous to creating projects, they did testing on this. They put rats all together in one quote unquote housing project. And you know what happened? They clearly ate each other alive. So sometimes I feel like to do nothing is part of the plan. Now, clearly, people in the neighborhood are upset, but this no snitching thing is, it's that's an issue too, right? When people don't stand up out of fear, and I get it because there are some animals out here, but a flawed system, okay, has always been a problem. But when you're going so far as to not doing anything with these teenagers, clearly the parents aren't around, they're not doing their job. I don't know what the scenario is for everybody, but 13 and 15-year-olds shouldn't really want to steal cars and ride around and cause damage. I'm not even sure if anybody has possibly gotten hurt because the way that they drive, I'm telling you, Milwaukee people can't drive as it is, but the way that they drive, yeah, it's insane. And we have, it was, what I'm getting at with the system being so flawed, I want you guys to see this. This is how,
There's a killer on the loose.
how bad it really is. It's horrible. I don't know how this scenario happened, but it's not just once. It's more. It's been multiple times. multiple times that they have done something like this. This is insanity.
In Milwaukee, and the victim's family says the man wanted for pulling the trigger should have been locked up at the time.
Fox 6 investigator Brian Polson shows you why one of Wisconsin's most wanted criminals keeps getting caught, then released, and the one factor that makes this case different from the Waukesha parade attack.
It doesn't take a sophisticated assessment tool to see this person is dangerous.
Complete menace to the city.
The trick is measuring that danger in dollars.
Money ultimately at the end of the day does not equate to safety.
And that explains why Kenneth Twyman is a wanted man again.
It makes no sense whatsoever to me.
This woman, we'll call Mary, is worried.
We don't know Kenny's next move. And that's a fear for us. That's a great fear.
That's why you're talking to me in the dark here.
Yes, exactly.
Last month outside the Quick Mart near Fond du Lac and Locust, someone shot and killed her nephew, 24-year-old Tavon Luckett.
What happened? What happened?
Her confusion turned to anger when prosecutors charged Twyman with homicide.
4 outstanding warrants, 4 felony open cases.
In 2018, police say Twyman led them on a high-speed chase, crashed into an SUV with a mother and 3 young children inside, then ran off into the darkness. Inside his car, police found a half pound of marijuana, cocaine, heroin, scales, a gun, ammo, and 7 mobile phones, including one that contained videos so concerning.
Never seen such reckless behavior in my days.
Twyman quickly became one of Wisconsin's most wanted.
U.S. Marshals are asking for your help locating this 19-year-old Milwaukee man.
After Fox 6 News featured Twyman's story in December of 2018,
Tonight, that suspect is in police custody.
U.S. Marshals picked him up in Arkansas. A Milwaukee judge set bail at $3,000 cash. And a few months later, Twyman was out.
He was free to wander the streets in Rome to do whatever he wanted to do.
Since then, he's been in and out of jail, skipping court at least 6 times along the way. And in January, U.S. Marshals went to get him again. This time, they found him at his mom's Milwaukee apartment, along with a 9mm handgun, 17-round magazine, 2 pounds of marijuana, and wads of cash.
State of Wisconsin versus Kenneth Twyman.
In a digital recording of Twyman's initial appearance, his lawyer tells the court $1,000 bail is more than enough.
The only other job he has is working with his father at his father's store.
Still, prosecutors wanted much more, and they got it.
I am going to follow the state's recommendation to set the $7,500 cash.
That's a pretty substantial amount of bail, right? $7,500?
Yeah.
4 days later,
I don't want to be on that camera.
This man, who identified himself as a family member of Twyman's, paid $7,500.
And he's out again.
To commit murder.
On April 14th, police say Tavon Luckett went into the Quick Mart to get pizza rolls. When he came out, he recognized Kenny Twyman and called his name. A witness said the 2 men appeared to shake hands before Twyman shot Luckett in the neck and chest, then hopped in a car and rode away.
Did that cash bond keep your family safe?
No. No, it did not. We are still not safe.
We're equating a higher cash bail with public safety, and that's just not the case.
Nick Sainer is co-founder of Justice Point, Milwaukee County's pretrial services agency, and an outspoken advocate of bail reform.
If money isn't going to work and money doesn't work, then we have to take a look at other options.
But bail reform means different things to different people. The Waukesha parade attack last fall focused attention on low bail for violent offenders, prompting State Senator Julian Bradley to call for minimum bail amounts for certain crimes.
How do you pick a fixed dollar amount like $5,000 or $10,000 and say that's the magic number?
That's not the magic number, it's the minimum. It's the starting point.
Twyman posted a total of $12,500, but still wound up charged with homicide.
When someone needs to be detained, they need to be detained, period.
Sainer wants to eliminate cash bail altogether by releasing most defendants until their cases are resolved, but holding the most dangerous ones in jail no matter how much cash they have.
You're held until your hearing date. How do you feel about that?
I think that's a very good idea.
As it is, Mary says the criminal justice system let her family down, but it's what happened after her nephew's death that rubbed salt in the wound.
You know that he was going to be there via Zoom. I mean, why didn't you go and get this guy?
On April 21st, a Milwaukee court commissioner issued a homicide warrant for Twyman. The next day, he was in court on a different case, appearing by Zoom from his lawyer's office in Racine. The prosecutor knew there was a warrant, but according to Deputy DA Kent Lovern, she said nothing.
It would be in the interest of law enforcement and in our interest to not have that information divulged to a subject who is wanted.
All they had to do was just pick up the phone and make a phone call.
Mary says her family members are grieving, but they are also scared.
Who knows what he's going to do next?
If the system won't hold Kenneth Twyman accountable, she says,
this could turn into a real gun battle within the city of Milwaukee.
The streets will.
Kenneth Twyman was actually due in court in Waukesha County on Monday for a plea and sentencing in a felony bail jumping and drug possession case from 2021. But with that homicide warrant out for his arrest in Milwaukee, of course, he was a no-show here. We're told Milwaukee police have now asked U.S. Marshals to find Kenny Twyman for the third time. In Waukesha, Brian Polson, Fox 6 Investigators.
Kenneth Twyman has retained attorney Mark Richards to defend him in the 2018 police chase and at least one other case. Richards, of course, is best known for defending Kyle Rittenhouse on his way to an acquittal over the Kenosha protest shootings. He did not return a phone call seeking comment.
Did you hear that? The same attorney that Kyle Rittenhouse had and did not return a call for comment. It's kind of interesting. But how the fuck do you let a person like that in and out of jail? And you make the bond amount feasible. $7,500. Now, these kids have already made it clear that it's going to be a quote unquote bloody fucking summer. And, you know, if I had it my way, I would do things a lot differently, but I'm kind of tyrannical, so it's probably a good thing that I don't have any power. Because, yeah, man, this shit is so crazy out here. And, you know, if anybody, you know, first of all, let me say this. Thank you, everybody, for coming by. I know I seen Conscious Moron. Appreciate you, bro, Mayor. I think hey Sheila, Silky Smooth John, of course. John is the all known, all being best mod on YouTube. Minnie, Michelle, Joe, if I didn't say it, I probably said it. I appreciate everybody that came through. Sorry it's hard for me to walk and chew bubblegum when I'm doing this. But yeah. It's just, I could, you know, what was it, yesterday? I could have got some footage. I swear every day probably this summer, I'm going to try to see. It's kind of hard to get footage like that because clearly, you know, I'm not trying to get into it with people on any of these blocks. But I've noticed that even when it was a crash out here on the main street, okay, that none of us had anything to do with. Everybody was like kind of out here looking, and then as soon as they seen the police kind of walk this way, everybody was like, oh, please shut your door. You know, like, what the fuck? What's that about? But you clearly see that Linwood made that silly ass comment in the chat. Where is the accountability? These are Black people complaining. Okay, these are Black people complaining, and the lady was saying straight up that she's scared. She's scared that it's going to turn into more gunfire. It's not going to stop. And if I had to pick, if I had to give any answer to why this is happening, it's only because they're letting it. What else could it be? Now, I do also understand that in certain circumstances, police have their hands tied. Because you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'm not saying all cops are perfect. Okay, we all know Minnesota has a huge problem. Huge problem. I'll say it. That's from my observation. But what to do in these scenarios? You know, and don't, I hate running with any kind of narrative. I follow this and do this because I reside here. Okay, it's not a picking and choosing. It is basically all based on what I'm seeing on the news and what I see with my own eyes. Typically, people are very friendly, right? Don't have any problems over here for the most part. You know, a lot of these are targeted, but as you can see in that last clip, he just simply rolled down the window and just started shooting aimlessly. Who knows where them bullets go, right? And a lot of innocent children have caught them bullets. Let's be real. And you know, when it comes to police, here's another narrative that I'm going to kill right now with this city, and you'll see it. Now, with what mainstream media pushes, you would think that both these people would be dead. But they're not. They're alive and in custody. But I'm just going to show it right now just to make things clear, because I know a lot of times this particular narrative gets pushed. But watch.
Charges are now filed after a Milwaukee man was arrested after an hours-long standoff. Prosecutors say Otis Frazier was wanted in connection to an abduction case and for allegedly shooting at police officers in May. On Monday, officers went to arrest him at a home near 9th and Pierce. He reportedly barricaded himself inside and held several people hostage at one point. Frazier is taken into custody after he was found hiding in the attic.
So he was taken into custody. You heard that, right?
The crisis hasn't changed. That's what a longtime Milwaukee alderman says nearly.
That's not it. And all these are recent stories. I'm not going back too far. All these are recent. It's not like 6 months ago or a year ago. Oh shit. I think this is not the, it might be the right one. I apologize if it's not. I think actually this is on no, that's something else. No. Sorry. This guy right here, same thing. Similar incident anyway. Pointed the gun at police. But they were able to take him into custody. Now, will I sit up and say it never happens, that cops don't shoot? Obviously, that's not true. But I'm just saying, we've had a couple incidents here where these men have been taken into custody. And you know, when it comes to grown-ups, truth told, I'm kind of past that. I'm more concerned about, I did a lot of focus in my younger years on grown, non-violent offenders to try to help them. But at this point, it's kids who are really my focus because, that's where it starts. And I kind of felt like, not that I wasted time, but it's more important that if I am going to put the time into it, I'm going to work with children, It is what it is. But, the narrative never changes. And I'm pointing this out for a reason. If I can go to different stories, okay? And I don't want to start that one yet. If I can go to different stories and show you, you'll see. You'll see for yourself that when it comes to media, they'll put in it what they want you to see. It always goes that way. It never fails. Never fails. For here, in every story that I've found that go under this, apparently there was a Chicago police officer that resigned. I guess they say he was assaulting this woman. I haven't seen the whole video. I think I have it. Let's see if I can play that.
It happens suddenly. A Chicago police officer grabs a woman walking her dog, but her attorney says she does not know why it happened.
She has no idea why he would attack her in that fashion. It was wholly unprovoked.
Attorney Keenan Salter represents the woman in that video, Nikita Brown. Shortly after midnight on Saturday, Salter says his client, who was a black woman, was approached by a white Chicago police officer as she walked her dog at North Avenue Beach.
The officer engaged her in a discussion about leaving the park, which she was fine to do.
Now understand this.
Please respect my space. It's COVID.
Brown recorded her own video, but her camera was knocked down when for some reason the officer grabbed her. Salter says his client was the victim of racial profiling because there were other people out that night who just happened to be white.
He makes a very concerted effort to target her in a scenario where she's by herself, a woman walking after midnight.
I'm still waiting for more than a preliminary briefing. I'd like to get more facts other than the video.
Superintendent David Brown says the video may not tell the entire story and is waiting for the Bureau of Internal Affairs and the Civilian Office of Police Accountability to finish their investigations before taking any disciplinary action. The mayor calls the video straightforward and disturbing.
But I want to make sure that COPA moves this to the top of the priority list and gets this done. I think this woman deserves to have answers as to what happened.
On social media, COPA says it is aware of the video and it has started an investigation. In North Avenue Beach, Christian Farr, NBC 5 News.
Sorry, this thing would not get out of my way, but this is what I'm getting at. Now, if he did that, if he targeted her for no reason, and I'm assuming something like that might have happened because he resigned. Why else would a police officer resign? But here's my point. They always do this. They always make sure that they put a color to it. This media always does this. Now, if it's reversed, which I can show you that too, that's not gonna be important to them. This is all fucked up. But my main focus is the city that we live in. And I don't know how to fix it. I really don't. I don't know what to do at this point. I don't know if there's any hope. I don't know. I don't know if getting involved is safe, worthy. I don't want to say worthy, but I just feel like so much of this is planned, designed, and they really don't give a fuck. And I just, like I said, I do believe that the further we get down the line, the less the police are going to care. And why would they care? If I think about myself potentially being a cop, who wants to be a cop when you know you can potentially get, end up in prison if you make a wrong decision? Like, how do I say this? Anything you do is going to be under scrutiny. If you're trying to save yourself because, it's going to be natural. If it's you or me, it's going to be you. I can't imagine being a cop. It wouldn't be a profession I would pick. Uvalde proved that they clearly aren't in a position to be police officers. They should have picked another job. This is all just weird, and I could never get into depth or even have the fortitude to clearly understand or explain what is exactly happening. Now, they talked about mental health in the city. I think that's better to put more money into it. They have announced that they're going to send mental health workers per se to the scene with the police, so we don't end up in situations where people end up getting shot that shouldn't be shot. I guess it'll be a wait and tell or wait and see per se, how that works out. But yeah, clearly, if we don't do something with these kids here, we are gonna have a big fucking problem. We've already hit 100 murders by the 18th of June. Now, I haven't looked up Baltimore. I know some of the other cities. People always say Chicago. And I know it seems to be like cliche, like, damn, Chicago. We're always hearing Chicago. You know, I don't even know what their rate is at. You know, but yeah, we're fucked up. And like I said, I don't know all the answers. And I don't necessarily think that, you know, when you throw a 13 or 15-year-old in jail, that it's necessarily going to change something for him. It might make him a better criminal, right? Some people are workable, and I just think some aren't. I hate to be harsh and say it like that, but that goes for everybody. And unfortunately, like I said, it's not unfortunate, but yeah, you're going to get a lot of articles from me from this city. Milwaukee is extremely, it's not as segregated as it used to be, but it still is extremely segregated. I don't really see, I might see, there's one Mexican guy, a couple of Asians that live over here, but other than that, no, this is pretty much all Black territory for blocks, miles. So I don't know. I just wanted to show a couple of these stories. You know, I do want to get involved politically. I don't even know if I want to pick a side. You know, if I can go in on an independent basis, you know, I don't even want to label. I want to find out who this Martha Freeman is, make contact with her, and see what I can do going forward. Because like I said, I just don't think, I want punishment is necessary. But I don't know if jail is it, you know? I just don't. But it's getting too crazy. And with that being said, I appreciate everybody coming by. You know, I think when I start doing this, I'm in the process of moving, and it's been extremely stressful. And once I get that situated by July, then hopefully I can get out here and do more community work. And I hope that, you know, others, if you're in a city or close to one, maybe it's worth your time or interest to get involved in one way or another. I mean, even signing up for Big Brother, Big Sister, I think it's maybe a few hours out of a week. I mean, a lot of kids could use that. I don't know. Any ideas? I'm kind of considering either doing like an LLC, a nonprofit, something. I mean, there's an open space near here where I feel like, you know, I could go back to working with the teens, helping them get their diplomas, you know, whatever it takes. But the money that they're spending is not going in the right places. And like, I'll clearly have to work with other people because I don't really know this city that well, but I do want to do something to make a change. I don't want to be just another statistic that stands by, complains about it, and doesn't fucking do anything about it. And if any of you guys have ideas, please reach out to me. If you know how to get these things started, what it takes, because I don't have a lot of money to spend. What is it? I think somebody was telling me like $500 to do the LLC. I could do it, but right now, $500. No, it's not happening. Not in the moving process. I can't do it. So, anyway, thank you. You guys have a great afternoon. Enjoy. Stay cool. Be safe. Peace and love to everybody, and God bless.